Alrighty, everybody, we're going to get started. Good evening, I guess, and welcome to the At-Large Candidate Talk hosted by Happy City St. John's at Memorial. My name is Drew Richardson, the Vice Chair and Director of Communications for Happy City. Thank you for joining us. Happy City St. John's is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to community engagement and civic education. We believe that engaged citizens and informed voting are the foundation of a thriving community. Before we begin, we want to acknowledge that this event is being held on the traditional territories of diverse Indigenous groups, and we acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. In organizing tonight's events, we contacted every candidate through numerous means to invite them to participate. We thank all the candidates who could make it today, as well as candidates who responded positively to our request but were unable to attend due to varying circumstances. We also want to thank those of you who are able to attend tonight as members of the public. Your engagement in municipal politics keeps St. John's politics transparent, accountable, and responsive to the public good. Tonight is your chance to meet the at-large candidates and learn about the issues that matter to you and make informed decisions when you cast your vote. The at-large councillors you elect will represent all of St. John's. We want to thank Memorial University for hosting us in this wonderful space. Now I'm pleased to turn things over to our moderator for this evening, Adam Walsh, who will guide us through tonight's discussion with the candidates. Adam, the floor is yours.
All right. Let me see if this thing is on here. If you can all hear me. You're going to be looking at the back of my head for the whole night, so this is what the front of me looks like before I turn around. Thank you all for coming here. It's nice to see such a great group of folks running for municipal politics. Nice to see such a great group. My name is Adam Walsh. I'm the host and producer of The Signal, the lunchtime program for CBC, Newfoundland, and Labrador. The way this evening is going to work, we're trying to keep it fairly simple. This is, it's the start of a conversation that can go through the course of the campaign. Everyone's going to get 2 minutes each to introduce themselves. And then we've got a couple topics: housing and affordability, crime, transparency and accountability, transportation and mobility. Each of those gets 90 seconds per person. So a whole lot of time to really get into the weeds. But what you will get from this, it's a bit of an idea from what each person has on it. And then closing remarks. All that is going to take us to 8 o'clock or probably 8:10 or 8:11. We'll see how we go on timing. Like I said, it's meant to be an introduction, and we're keeping it as simple as possible. So what I'm going to do for introductions, I'm going to go left, all the way down to right, and then when we start with the questions, I'm going to go right, all the way down to the left, and then I'll go in the middle and out and in and out, do some hokey pokey. So thank you for your patience and attention on all this evening. It's being recorded, video recorded, audio recorded. Some of this may end up on the St. John's Morning Show. It's not my show, I'm not in charge of it, but I told them today and they were very interested, so be on alert. But you're here, so you're gonna hear it anyways. All right, here we go. I did say left to right, right? Hold on, let me, and I will, I'm monitoring my own clock. There's no fancy person waving. I'm the waver. And I will give you, how about we do, I don't know, if it's 2 minutes, I'll give you 15 seconds to wrap up each. Is that cool? And then we'll move on. All right, by your silence, I will take that as yes. And 1 second. Wallace Ryan, how about you start? 2 minutes on the clock with your introduction.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Wallace Ryan. A lot of you know me as an artist, but I'm also a bit of an activist and have been for years in municipal affairs, in everything from helping to found the pedestrian mall to fighting to make sure they didn't tear down the gazebo in Bannerman Park, and many other things over the years. And oh wow, that sounds so much better. That sounds so much better. Well, let's start again. No, so I mean, like I say, besides art and all that, I have always been interested in St. John's, the community. I love this city. This is the city that it gave my family a home over our family business over 100 years of patronage from the people of St. John's, and I know that my father and grandfather both returned that to their communities. They were both very big community-minded people. And they passed it down to me. I love living in St. John's. I've lived away for a few years here and there throughout my life, but coming back to St. John's is always the best. And I think, as opposed to some people that I keep hearing saying that, our city is going to hell or this type of thing, I've also heard like a lot of positive, a lot of hope out there for things that we can do with the city and make it a better place to live.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hey, not bad.
No,
Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
How you doing? Ready?
Sure.
All right, Lynn.
Oh, you have a timer.
I mean, yes.
Okay.
Go for it.
Great, thanks. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lynn Hammond, and I'd like to take a little bit of time to introduce myself and share some information about my volunteer and career experiences. Some people may remember me as the former chair of Equal Voice, or recognize me from a few years back when I regularly provided political commentary for CBC radio and television, or perhaps when I hosted and produced a weekly episode of Out of the Fog on Rogers TV. Interestingly, though, what many people don't know is that none of those things were my job. They were all volunteer. And my professional career is actually quite different. After graduating from Memorial with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and certificates in Marketing and Public Administration, I started working for the provincial government. And by the age of 24, I was Director of Communications for Municipal and Provincial Affairs, including the Fire Commissioner's Office and the Emergency Measures Organization. The following year, I received the Public Service Award of Excellence for my crisis communications work on the Badger flood disaster. And over the next decade, I held senior communications engagement and public policy roles, including Director of Communications and Consultations with the Executive Council. In the private sector, I've worked in mining, energy, and technology, and have held Vice President Corporate Affairs positions with both international companies and publicly traded companies. And the focus of my work has been stakeholder engagement, Indigenous relations, and government relations. Essentially, I serve as the liaison between industry and community. I continue to work in the natural resources sector as a consultant, which gives me the time and flexibility to be a councillor at large. My special skill is bringing diverse people together to identify common goals and seek solutions, and I believe that my experience would be an asset to the new City Council.
To time, 2 minutes. Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
All right, Nikita, go for it.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you to Happy City St. John's for hosting this important discussion. My name is Nikita Ryle, and I'm running for councillor at large because I believe our city needs a strong voice who will put people first. Through my work as program coordinator at the neighbourhood centres in the Newfoundland Labrador housing areas, I've gained experience in budget oversight and project management. I stand with the people in their highest highs and their lowest lows. Also, as my work as mental health and addiction support worker at Tommy Sexton Centre, I see firsthand the challenges people face. I believe the City Council must not only manage infrastructure and budgets, but also build a city where everybody is supported and included. I'm committed to listening, being accessible, and working collaboratively to take real issues such as housing affordability, safety, reliable transportation, accessibility, and make sure that our city is accountable to you. Tonight I want to share how I plan to move St. John's forward. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, hit the old reset button here. You ready, Kate?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Start.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate Cadigan, and it's a privilege and an honor to share this room with you tonight. Thank you so much to Happy City for organizing. I want to talk a little bit about why I decided to run. So I made the decision to stay here in the city and build a future here in this city. However, I know that many of my peers and others don't feel like that's a possibility for them, that they can pursue opportunity. However, I believe that the City of St. John's has great potential and we need to build upon it, keeping our future in mind. Envisioning a future in this city means having high quality, safe and affordable housing, having safe parks for our kids and our grandchildren, and having the right supports and programming for those who are struggling. And most importantly, having a council that reflects your day-to-day needs. I'm a graduate from Memorial University with a background in political science and gender studies. I've been an advocate, a volunteer, an organizer, and someone who always shows up, listens closely, and does the work. I've spent a lot of time with Equal Voice and other organizations in political spaces, with municipalities, NL, and other community groups, learning about different issues in our city. But the place that I find I learn the most is from you. So I'm really excited to get to know you and your concerns over our time here and over the next couple of weeks. I believe we need energetic, engaged, and informed voices on council, and that's exactly what I plan to bring. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Miles, are you ready? You look ready. You look ready.
That's the first trick. I failed.
Oh,
Hello, folks.
There you go. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, and you're on.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miles Russell. I'm also a candidate here. My background is construction and planning. The reason I'm running is we are clearly in a housing crisis. We're in a transportation crisis. I don't want to gloss over real issues people are facing. So, we're seeing students entering into bidding wars for rentals and houses going $50,000 over rental, over their value for sale. There's a reason this is happening. We're not building anything. There's no cranes anywhere in St. John's. We're simply not building housing. But there's a solution. So the solution is, like, we see other cities and our peers doing this, making a city that builds community around certain parts of our city. We're able to, we can address housing by building community spaces that address, have transit access and things like this. And the question might be, these can also solve revenue issues, but the question might be, like, why hasn't this happened already? And it's happened because we don't have anyone on council that can bridge the gap between staff and council themselves. Council have to be a force that understands a lot of regulations and rules. We need that kind of voice on there so we don't have to go to the staff to wait for understanding to come in. So I want to work with fellow councillors and staff so we can actually put forth regulations that can address our housing crisis and our transportation crisis. Aside from this, like, I'm running because I didn't think of this before. I started a not-for-profit only 3 years ago after meeting other former candidates like Anne Malone and Jess Pottester. I'm here because I know there's a need for this on council. I tried the advocacy with my not-for-profit Streets for People. We've done work with Happy City researching the accessibility of transit. It's bad. We've looked at the accessibility on housing. And these are things that I think we need a voice on council that comes from understanding of construction and planning, because that's what we need as a council, to have those tools to be able to pass legislation that works. So there you go. That's why I'm running.
All right, 2 minutes. Thank you very much. All right, Paul, you good to go?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming up tonight. My name is Paul Cumden, and I am proud to be running for a seat in St. John's City Council. St. John's is more than just a place we live. It's our home, our history, and our future. From our downtown heritage buildings to our vibrant neighborhoods, from our hardworking small businesses and to our trails, parks, and coastline, this city has a character like no other. But while we have so much to be proud of, I also know that many of us are concerned about the challenges we face today. We see the rising cost of living and the strain it puts on families. We drive on the roads and wonder when they'll be repaired properly. We see opportunities for smart development, but worry about losing our heritage and identity that make our city unique. We want our neighborhoods that are safe, inclusive, and welcoming, where young people can afford to stay and seniors can age with dignity. And we all want a city hall that listens, responds, and manages our tax dollars responsibly. That's why I'm running, and I believe our city councillors who are approachable, who bring your voices into the room, and who are willing to do hard work of building consensus. I want to see a St. John's that invests in reliable services, supports sustainable growth, protects our natural environment, and fosters opportunities for everyone. Together, we can build a St. John's that honors its past, addresses the challenge of the present, and prepares for a strong, inclusive, and sustainable future. I would be honored to earn your trust and your support in this election. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll hit reset. Art, you're up.
Thank you. My name's Art Pottester, and I've served on council before. I was the Ward 1 councillor from 2001 to 2009. I was also an at-large councillor from 2013 to 2017. I have experience, and I'm seeking position at a councillor at-large. Now, there's 3 main points that I want to run on. First of all, a freeze on taxes. Right now, we need a freeze on residential and commercial taxes. Our budget is $449 billion. We should be able to provide good service to the citizens of St. John's with this $449 million. Second, accessibility for everyone. We need our buildings, our crosswalks, our sidewalks, and our trails accessible. And the trails, we need to start a program of getting street lights, especially around Kitty Vitty Lake, where people can walk in the nighttime, get exercise, and feel safe. The third thing is affordable housing. Everyone deserves an affordable place to live. Now, we have a problem here in this city of homelessness, mental health, and drugs. Now, if you're going to freeze taxes, where do we get the money? Well, first of all, the province does not pay its fair share of taxes. This building right now, the city provides free water and sewer services to the university. The Confederation building, the hospitals, the city does not pay anything to the city. The province does not pay anything to the city for these services. Years ago, they paid a grant of $10 million. That's gone. Not many people realize, but actually the city can buy its diesel fuel for snowblowers and garbage trucks cheaper than for Metrobus. There's a special road tax on Metrobus fuel, which totals $450,000 a year. That needs to be rebated. And the third thing is the city has to pay the province $3 million a year in a payroll tax. Anybody paying over $2 million throughout the province pays a special tax, which is brought in by Clyde Wells. So that needs to be rebated. This money, if we can get this money from the province, needs to go to affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Hit reset. Scott, 2 minutes on the clock. You're good?
Ready?
All right,
Ready to
we're
go?
Good to go. Start.
Hi. Thank you for coming out this evening to participate in this forum, young and old. Just to give you a little background on me, I have a degree from Memorial in Political Science, and I've worked in the IT industry for about 27 years. I'm currently a business analyst with the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, and it's given me a unique opportunity to build solutions for unique problems using data, business requirements, and common sense. I've been a community volunteer for over 20 years, everything from school councils to coaching multiple sports over many years, and community cleanups and sporting events like the Canada Games. I like to be involved in the community, and I know how important community involvement is. Things don't happen without volunteers. I've lived here all my life. My wife and I have raised our family here. My daughter's down in the back. And she and her brother, they're my motivation for running. I want St. John's to be a place that they want to stay and live because it offers everything that they could ever want. Adequate housing, safe streets, recreation and green space, reliable services, reasonable taxes, and an overall great quality of life. I want to help take St. John's to the next level and make it attractive to everyone, whether they want to live here, build a business, or simply just visit. I love St. John's, and I truly believe we are so fortunate and lucky to live where we do. But it can be better.
15 seconds.
Tonight, I look forward to sharing my feelings and ideas on a number of areas that are priorities for me and probably for you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent. All right, hit reset. John, you good to go? All right, ready? Go for it.
Hey everybody, my name's John Barber, and I'm just going to go right into my platform. My platform is a denser, more walkable, and happy city. I come from a neighborhood that was built by a co-op, a group of like-minded individuals coming together to create a shared vision. My grandfather, Clayton Barber, was a member of this co-op and helped build every home in the new neighborhood alongside his new neighbors. I grew up down the street from his home in a great neighborhood full of young families where everyone looked out for each other, living in the afterglow of this shared community spirit. As a result, I still carry this spirit inside me today, and I'm looking forward to sharing the spirit with you. This is my vision for the next 4 years of City Council. The number one task for the City of St. John's is housing, and the dedicated council and city staff work hard every day to address it. Just recently approving an amendment to the commercial office hotel zone for 222 Lamarchant Road. The amendment allowed dwelling units on the first floor, which added 99 new dwelling units to my neighborhood. I think this was an awesome amendment. If elected, I will explore the creation of similar incentives to bring more smart development to vacant buildings downtown, zone commercial, downtown mixed. I think the city has a wonderful plan for future infrastructure in place. I will support motions that align with the existing Envision St. John's Municipal Plan, development regulations, and the city's strategic directions. The City of St. John's already does a wonderful job of public consultation, as we have all seen in the development of its neighborhood plans. I will continue to ensure that the development projects include meaningful public consultation to create developments that reflect our shared values and meet the needs of our city and communities.
15 seconds.
I'm done.
Oh, well, thank you. All right, so that's round one. As I go over and grab a bottle of water here, give us a round of applause for everyone. Excellent. So you get a nice flavor of who everyone is here in the room, and now we'll, so we went left to right, and we're going right to left. And after, we'll go in the middle. The first. Are you ready to start again? Yeah. Don't worry,
Let's go.
I'll ask the question, so it's coming. It's going to be the same for everyone. And yeah, I mean, I know it can be a little bit samey for answers, but I think each of you has something different to provide these answers, even though the questions are the same for everyone. Housing and affordability. Housing affordability is a major issue for folks in St. John's. City Council has suggested that there is a need to get more housing built as a response to the problem, but there doesn't seem to be any end in sight for the housing crisis, for where we are right now, and for what a bunch of you have already touched on. What more should the council be doing to address this issue for housing and affordability, and what would your approach be? Let me hit start. Give me 2 seconds, because I need to turn on my phone again. 1 second. Here we go. 90 seconds per answer. I'll give you a 15-second countdown, just like I did. So 90 seconds for your answer. Go for it, John.
And we need more smart density. We need to take advantage of existing spaces we have. We have lots of vacant buildings in the city. We have lots of unrented spaces in the city. Council should provide incentives for developers to develop these spaces. And we need more houses. I think in 2028, we're estimated to have a housing shortage of 2,038 homes, and that was based on a 2023 study. Current housing costs have increased 124% in the last 5 years, previous to 2025. The last 10 years before that was 127. So we're already at 124%. So who knows what the next 5 years will bring. We need to work with developers and to bring density to this city. We need more smaller dwelling units. We need affordable single-bedroom apartments. That's what this city needs. This is where we need to go.
Thank you.
And I'm done.
Excellent. All right. Scott, same question. And if at any point you want me to repeat the question, let me know, because, I mean, it is a long train to get to the other side, but go for it, Scott.
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, so housing affordability, like John just said, it comes down to the need for more units. We have to build more. It's the biggest tool that City Council has in its toolbox is the ability to open up development, to loosen some of the regulations and restrictions that exist now around development, and to let it proceed quicker and with more variety. The End Homelessness St. John's group have really taken on this role to tackle homelessness, and they do a great job of identifying some things like making more land available, allowing for multi-use or multi-zone applications for a variety of housing. And they've also brought up the idea of regulating short-term rentals. Halifax has done this. They've reduced short-term rentals from 2,400 to 1,200. So that's 1,200 extra units that they've been able to make available. So there are ways to do this, creative ways that this problem can be tackled.
Thank you. 90 seconds. Art,
Thank you.
There you go.
The city right now, we do have some subsidised housing on Rollins Cross and downtown and so on, but we need to do more. We need to work with the province. I think we need to work with the province, the federal government, specifically to open up some land. I'm a member of the St. John's Northwest Rotary Club. I'm wearing my Rotary pin here tonight. And in 1988, my club borrowed $3 million from the federal government. And today we have the Rotary Manor just up off of Pennywell Road. This is subsidized housing for people with disabilities and mental health issues, right? And actually my Rotary Club right now is still working on another program. Hopefully we can, the federal government has said, look, you've done this before, you can do it again. So we need to work with different groups, you know, it could be the Salvation Army or so on, and private clubs, but I think the city needs to work with the federal government and the province to free up land. Land is the key. I mean, I think the money will come from levels of government, but if the city, like, I can't see any city land that's available, but there is provincial land, like the Grace Hospital, the federal land down in Pleasantville. So if we can get the land and we get willing partners such as service groups and so on, they can build it, and we get the government money, we can certainly start to address this major issue.
Thank you. Hit reset. Go for it, Paul.
I think, you know, the city should build more subsidized housing, have more inclusionary zones, and streamline permits which make it easier for developers to build, and support for secondary suites on certain properties in certain areas of the city. Also, when it comes to, you know, Airbnb, I mean, a lot of owners are transforming their houses now into short-term renters and short-term rental on Airbnb. I mean, if the city is allowing that, either they limit the amount of Airbnb transfers, or if they do allow it, they charge an extra tax, and that tax should go in back to the city for subsidizing housing and making new houses. And, you know, enhance resident engagement, especially with like youth and low-income renters, to ensure that, you know, all the diverse voices are shaping our housing policies, and push for rent control stabilization.
Thank you. Reset. Miles, go for it. 90 seconds.
So the first part there about what should council be doing, I'll say something probably a little off. Their job is to push regulations that adapt to the city's needs. We're not seeing that. We're stuck in regulations that are 70 years old. We need to adapt. So some things the city's been trying. I was the chair of the environmental experts panel at the City of St. John's. Their goal was to unregulate the wetlands to turn them into housing. I don't want that. I brought up to the planning department, there's 750 hectares of parking lot in the city. That's like 4,500 houses can be built there. Also, we're around 4,000 homes short already. It's actually going to increase to about 5,000 in the next couple of years. So what do I want to do as a plan? So here's a start. We have more zones than Toronto. We have more housing definition terms in our regulations than other cities like Halifax. This is the world I work in. I've been on developments where we deleted 10% of our houses because of snow storage. I've seen apartments get canceled because we're 3 parking stalls short in an area where only 10% of the people drive. I've seen houses get deleted because of a wetland storm study from an area that was more parking lot that we made smaller. These are systemic issues that are in our engineering regulations and planning. This is the reason I'm running. This is a core integral part that we need someone who understands this. And honestly, it's painful to see such opportunity lost because council isn't making these changes. My job, what I do professionally, is to educate shareholders, but people in these projects, in this kind of work. So this is what I want to do. That's my goal.
Thank you.
Time.
Good job on that time. Kate, 90 seconds to you.
All right, so I believe that as a municipal government, we have the leadership not only to advocate with other levels of government to increase housing support, but also to work creatively within our own resources to find meaningful and lasting solutions. I will advocate for policies that encourage long-term rentals, programs that encourage home ownership, and looked at existing zoning and development regulations to make it easier and cheaper to build housing here in St. John's. I'm seeing my friends, people my age, leave because they can't find housing, that they're squeezed out of the market, and seniors not having a place to go when they're ready to move out of their home. This is unacceptable. We need more housing, and we need to be taking a more ambitious approach to solving this crisis.
Thank you. Nikita, 90 seconds. Here you go.
So as my current work in the low-income housing areas, housing is a human right. And as a councillor, I will advocate for affordable housing options by working with nonprofit and the private sectors and other levels of government, such as Newfoundland and Labrador Housing. We need mixed income development and incentives for affordable rentals so that landlords will want to rent at a lower rate. And we also don't want to see our young people forced out of here, so something to consider might also be building up instead of out, and I'm definitely in favor of that.
Thank you very much. All right, 90, hit stop, reset, there we go. Lynn, you ready? 90 seconds, go for it.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Oh, on, there you go,
first.
reset, there you go.
There we go.
All right, start.
I'd like to actually pull off what Miles said, because I think that, in my experience working in the provincial government, we often heard people talk about the lumbering reality of government and how long regulations and policies and all these things take, in terms of being able to actually action things. And so the reality is we need builders and proponents to be able to take on these projects. And they're not going to want to take them on if it's 2 years, 3 years out, or if the end game is not in sight. So I really do think that we need to get beyond that lumbering reality. And as Miles said, council needs to push back on the city in order to change regulations to make sure that we can actually address housing in an efficient manner.
Thank you very much. Wallace, 90 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
Go for it.
Everyone took all the best ideas. No, I agree with most of them. There are a few in particular. The Airbnb in particular is very concerning. I don't think the very existence of them is fair, because they don't pay their fair share in terms of taxation, stuff like that, and they do put a pressure on rental properties. One of the other things, too, I think that St. John's could really take advantage of in terms of housing is opening up the regulations on small houses. I think if we worked at including a lot more small housing, we could actually address a lot of these issues. When I was in Copenhagen many years ago, we were walking down this river, and I was chatting with our guests, our host and all that, and we noticed these little houses all dotted going down the river. And they were all beautiful little houses, one-story type of affairs, and we said to him, this looks like a park. What are all these houses doing here? And she said, oh, the city has built them and given them to these homeless people. And every single one of those units was spotless. There were things hanging off their front decks. They looked beautiful. These people were proud of where they were living. And I think going small will basically solve a lot of the problems, but not all of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, round of applause for that round of answers there. Excellent. So that's housing and affordability. Next, we're going to move on to, the next on my list is crime. So we'll start with Kate. We're going to go left. But then next time, we'll start with Miles, and we'll go right. So there you go. Here's the question. According to Happy City, on the doorsteps, candidates are hearing a lot about social problems, many more than in previous elections. Concerns about crime, homelessness, growing visible evidence of poverty. Are these social problems an issue you think the council can help address? If so, how? And 90 seconds.
I think absolutely that this is something that council should address, and if they say they can't, then I think they're pointing fingers. I think taking responsibility for our community and everybody in it is important. And, my solution to that is connection has a big role to play in keeping people happy, keeping people safe. And, there's so much research that shows that when we are more connected, we have lower crime rates. This means having good recreation programs, good green spaces, good trails, happy, healthy living programs. These are things we're already offering. We just need to invest in them and make sure that they're operating in the best way possible to make sure that our residents are feeling supported. So yes, I absolutely think that the city should be taking leadership and can be taking more leadership to address this growing problem in our city and our communities.
Thank you very much. Nikita, you're up. Yeah, only 2 mics, low budget. So let's see, 90 seconds, are you ready? All right, go.
So as councillors, we definitely should not be hands off on this, and I will be an advocate, and I will be relentless when it comes to crime and safety. Safety is about prevention as much as it is policing, and I see firsthand in my working community how recreation programs, wellness groups, education support, and for places where people feel supported and listened to. I will work to strengthen partnerships with community groups and first responders, while also addressing root causes like poverty, addiction, and lack of safe public spaces. Every resident should feel safe when they're walking day or night. We need to collaborate to fill the gaps so people feel protected.
Thank you very much. Lynn, 90 seconds. Mic's on. All right.
Okay,
Here we
great.
go.
So collaborative initiatives that group police, mental health, addictions, and crisis paramedics together have shown some results in reducing incidents and allowing people to connect to services, before sometimes there are incidents. But that's a response to the effect of the problem and not addressing the root causes of crime. The city itself absolutely has an obligation to be active participant in this conversation, but there is no doubt that the city's efforts are very much limited by the provincial financial resources that are needed to address these issues. Ensuring that public safety is accessible to us in the city ultimately starts with increasing those financial resources for policing mental health, addictions, and the root causes of crime.
Thank you very much. Wallace, hey, you're back already.
Hey,
All right, excellent. Here we go. 90 seconds to you. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, and when it comes to crime, of course, there's a lot of stuff that, to be quite honest, we really can't do. There are a lot of things that are provincial responsibilities and stuff like that. But in our neighborhood, in Rollins Cross, where crime has gone off the scale, we've actually gathered together as a community to fight it. So, I mean, we've done things like basically everyone, if they see something going on, they will call the police, that will call each other. We had three drug dealers tossed out of the neighborhood that were in some housing there, and we also closed down a crack house on Military Road, which astounds me. But I mean, even the fact that these were allowed to get to that point. The best story that I think of when I think about crime in the city is there's an 80-year-old woman who lives at the end of our block, and she is too afraid to leave her front door. She's too afraid to go into her own little backyard, just to walk around, have a cup of tea, tend to her flowers and all that. And no one seems to be listening. That's the big thing that I've heard at every door that I've knocked at. Nobody is listening to the victims of the crime.
Thank you very much. Did the microphone make its way down to you, John? It did. Excellent. All right. I was wondering that. I was listening, but also wondering. So 90 seconds.
Oh, hold on. Would you mind repeating the question?
No, yeah, of course I can.
Thank you.
On the doorsteps, according to Happy City, on the doorsteps, candidates are hearing a lot about social problems, maybe even more than in previous elections. Concerns about crime, homelessness, growing visible evidence of poverty. Are these social problems an issue you think the council can help address? If so, how? And 1 second. 90 seconds starting now.
I think when we get to the point of crime, it's already a bit too late. I think we need to nip this in the bud. Like, poverty is a huge issue when it comes to crime. We need more programs. The city is already doing a great job. If you're looking for it, there are resources there. There's leagues. There's community events. We as a community, we are supporting a lot of organizations. I really liked the Boy Scouts personally. Helped me keep me straight and doing good. Well, that came out weird, but you know what I mean. I hope. So back to crime. So when it comes to crime actively occurring, it is a community effort. We need more reporting. We need to be consistent in reporting. If you notice that, hey, this dark alley, lots of bad things are happening there, you know what? You should call 311 and say, hey, you know what we need there? A light. And then you should get your neighbor to call, and you should get your other neighbors to call, and just keep looking out for one another. Like crime at this point, like, is it a community involvement? You need to be relentless. You need to be persistent.
15 seconds.
And you just need to keep looking out for each other and, loving your neighbors. That's what it is.
Thank you very much. 90 seconds, Scott. Start.
Thanks. The city has begun a safer community strategy, and that effort is basically to pull together as many stakeholders as possible to work together to look at some of the root causes of crime. And when you're talking about determinants of social health and social well-being, housing, again, is one of the biggest determining factors. And it's, like I mentioned earlier, it's probably the biggest tool that City Council has in its toolbox to be able to affect change, to increase the number of units. So it really comes back to that. But there are a number of recommendations that the Safer Community Strategy has put forward that are really worthwhile. So I'll quickly just mention a few of them. Grant programs for community groups that support younger people, keep them out of trouble. Promoting Neighborhood Watch in partnership with the RNC. Incentivize the building of more affordable housing units and partnering with the provincial and federal governments to do that. Advocating for legislative reform for social supports for addictions, mental health, and the lack of affordable housing, and support for Indigenous people.
15 seconds.
We also need to, fund the RNC more so they can be more visible in the community and be able to respond to calls quicker.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
90 seconds.
This city's changed over the past number of years. When I was a very young boy, very young, I lived on Mare Meeting Road, and it was a wonderful neighborhood to grow up. I went to St. Pat's. You could walk around the night time, go to a store, go over to St. George's Field. All that's changed up around the hub now. There's drug dealers, there's issues and so on. And it's not just that neighborhood. It's all over the city. It's in the parks and everything. And when you look at crime, to me, the common denominator seems to be drugs. Now, how do we address drugs? We have to work with the RNC, give them more resources. The province has to get serious about drug dealers. We have to sort of move in that direction. And if we can address that issue as a city, working with the RNC and the province and the federal government, we need to have more resources. I noticed that there's security guards right now on George Street because the George Street Association tried to take matters in their own hands. So with their own resources, they have security guards. The city itself may have to start hiring more security guards as well. Like, I think it's common knowledge that 4 o'clock in the morning, kids will climb the fence in Boyne Park and go swimming in July and August, and then our people get called and they have to leave their neighborhoods where they're patrolling and go in and stop this, right? So we need more resources to work with the province, with the RNC,
15
more
seconds.
money. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Paul, 90 seconds.
I think the city are limited to exactly what they can do. I worked in the front line as a deputy sheriff for 12 years dealing with hands first of crime. And I think we really got to deal with the root causes of this, on a provincial and a federal level, not just municipalities. I mean, from a city perspective, I think we can do very limited as to maybe we can expand for like neighborhood watch programs, amplify and enhance the new cities, build their safe community strategy, and prioritize social determinants with community-based solutions. But in terms of just a city perspective, I mean, I think we're very limited and bound by certain regulations and laws.
Thank you very much. Miles, 90 seconds, start.
Before we go,
Too late. Yeah, go for it. Yep.
when we all got the information at the start, there
Yeah.
was a crime section and a poverty and homelessness separate. Are these all now the same question? Only because I can answer both at the same time. But just,
I feel yes at this point.
let her rip then. All right. So
90 seconds. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one thing I want to start off with something. A lot of politicians talk about how to make crime preventable, but they don't talk about how to make crime unnecessary. I want to talk about the fundamental thing that's at the bottom of crime. It's homelessness and housing shortage. We cannot build small homes. We cannot build small community areas. Here's a wild fact, everybody. Everything inside of Columbus Drive is illegal to build in this city. We cannot build a new Mary Meeting Road. It doesn't meet regulations. Why? That's insane. I'm not to get angry, but this is wild to me. So like an area like Southlands, Phase 4A and 5, that whole area is the area. If we built it like Mary Meeting Road or Center City, it'd be over 1,000 homes. There's less than 280 going there, and they start at $550,000. This is not a crisis to help crime and addictions. Now, City St. John's, rightfully so, we don't have access to police and mental health and health. That's outside the purview of municipalities. But we can fast track the provincial government and lobby them to start building safe injection sites. We can technically put in under private contract safe needle drop-off areas, but we can't technically operate them. That's inside, again, the St. John's Act. I love acts. I love nerdy things getting into documentation. This is what we can do. We can fast track like safe injection sites. We need to build rapid homelessness initiatives to get people a safe place to live. Because at the end of the day, if you're in a life that most of us are privileged to not have to deal with, we can't live their experience. They need a safe place to be. 3, 2, 1. Good enough for me.
Well, all right, next round, and you're still up. Because we're going to remember my promise: left to right, right to left. So now it's right to left. Transparency and accountability. How are we all doing? Do you need to stretch or anything? You feeling okay? Everyone
I got
good?
snacks out front.
Okay, we're all good. I don't want to ignore the audience. You've been sitting behind me the whole time. Someone's got snacks. Right? Yes, we can do that. Right? We can stretch a little bit in their chairs, right? Just stretch it up. There we go. Okay. I'm glad we stretched because we're on to transparency and accountability. There seems to be a sense, this is from Happy City, there seems to be a sense that the city isn't doing enough to engage the public over the choices we face on a range of issues. Do you feel there are steps that need to be taken to help the public have a real voice between elections? If so, what needs to change? Bear with me. 90 seconds, Miles. Begin.
Hey, who loves watching municipal politics? Nobody, right? It's boring. Here's the thing. City of St. John's has a committee of the whole. That's a private meeting where they make the decisions. We don't get to see it. We don't know what happens. What we get to see is a performative show of the council meetings. Now, I know there's some people on council trying to do good things, but we can't see it. Let's go into some weird things too. Hey, did you know when the city upgrades roads, they make residents pay like 10% of the cost of the construction, even though these are multi-million-dollar projects, making people pay like seniors who, I've talked to literally 100 people who had to pay over 10 grand for a sidewalk. These things are insane. This is not a transparent government. This isn't a way that makes people feel engaged with their city. When the election is over, we shouldn't vanish into the darkness. We need to be out in the community. We need to be out talking. We need to be out engaging with residents. I love being on TikTok and talking to people. I love engaging with people. I love being on also Instagram and all these things. I can't stop talking. You can clearly tell that. Look, here's the thing. I want to keep engaging. I think a council should be constantly engaging everybody in the city. What's the point of us getting elected and then vanish? That doesn't make any sense to me. I think what we need to do in council needs to be more public. There's also a very fun thing.
15 seconds.
I'm going to go really slow with this. There was a legislation passed just 4 weeks ago that allows councillors to openly talk about things that they're gag ordered on, and that's a good thing.
All right, Paul, 90 seconds to you.
I think the city council should be more open and have more public meetings and, report all their council meetings and make it more accessible and have, more town hall meetings so the public can get more engaged, be more public on social media and make sure that everybody in the community is heard.
Thank you. Art, 90 seconds. Go for it.
Yes, in regards to transparency, good question, by the way. There's only 3 things that council can discuss and vote on at a private meeting. That's legal matters, in regards to lawsuits. Secondly, personnel issues, somebody's being hired or dismissed, whatever. And the third is intergovernmental affairs. Dealing with the province or the feds, these are sensitive issues. Everything else has to be voted on and discussed in the public chamber. Now, in the past, yes, there were times that in private meetings, councillors would vote on issues like financial issues. I would challenge previous mayors. Got myself in trouble one time. I leaked a document saying that they gave an increase in a subsidy to Mile 1, and I said, this is a financial issue, Dennis, got to go to public chamber to be voted on. No, got to go to a budget discussion. So I made the document public. So there's only 3 things that can be discussed privately: legal matters, personnel, intergovernmental affairs. Anything else should be in the chamber. And I would remind councillors, whoever gets elected, sometimes you're a voice of one, but you're going to need 5 people to agree with you to get things done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Scott, 90 seconds. Go.
Thank you. Yeah, I do think that council and city hall in general does a pretty good job of consultations, but they can pick and choose in areas where they choose to be transparent or not. And there have been lots of examples of that over the years. The subsidy to Mile 1 or Mary Brown Center, a lot of people are unhappy with the number of the amount of money that gets moved over there, but they're even more unhappy with the fact that we don't ever get an accounting of what that money is used for, how it's spent. Several years ago, Metrobus finally saw an increase in ridership and should have been reinvested with the money that was generated from increased ridership. That money was diverted elsewhere. We were never told why or how, or, why that happened. So there are places where the city absolutely has to do better and transparency, because otherwise it just erodes public trust.
Thank you very much. John, 90 seconds. Go for it.
I think the city is doing a lot of good things already to address, accountability and accessibility. Like I think of the, I'm blanking on the name, Ron Ellsworth incident a while back, where he was, he owned a property, well, he's selling a property that the city wanted to buy, and he did step away. Someone did object to that sale, conflict of interest, and then there was a formal independent investigation into that conflict of interest where there was ruled to be no wrongdoing. And I think that was a responsible move by the council to do that and address transparency and the issue that was brought forward. Other things, the resources that we already have is, you have access to information requests. You can request these private minutes and any document you're looking for to address your concern with behind closed door deals. They're available to you. Maybe they should be more open. Personally, I think, politicians should be wearing body cams. That's my opinion.
Thank you very much. All right, 90 seconds, Wallace. Oh, we got to get you a microphone. Hold on. There we go. Is it on? Do a little check first. All right, 90 seconds. Go for it.
Okay, thank you very much. Talking about transparency, one of the biggest things actually I think that should happen is that we should return to in-person public meetings, because I've found this going online and leaving your comments and saying this and saying that, it just doesn't seem to go anywhere or have any effect. And if there's any proof of that, it was that St. John sign in Bannerman Park that I don't know who came up with, and I hope I'm not hurting anyone's feelings, but it was an awful idea. And that is the type of thing that public meetings are for. And I attended quite a few in my day, and they were great places to get things done. And I understand why politicians don't want them done, because a lot of times we question what they were doing. At one, we even held an impromptu vote over the objections of the people who were running the meeting, and according to everyone in the meeting, they didn't want what these people were selling, which at the time was a different gazebo in Bannerman Park, and something that just looked like it came out of a Kent's a flyer. It was that awful, but the people in the neighborhood made it clear that they wanted the old gazebo to stay.
15 seconds.
And City Hall did try their best. It was a summertime, which they came back suddenly and said, we've made some changes and all that. And they were going with it again, but I put a letter to the editor, a graphic letter to the editor, first whatever, and
Time.
The gazebo is still there.
Thank you very much.
Spoiler.
All right, 90 seconds, Lynn. Start.
Great, thank you. So one of the best measurements for transparency and accountability is public confidence. And so I think that we're hearing that the changes that have been made at City Council with the closed door meetings are just not satisfying people anymore. I recently went on, I used to watch City Council every Tuesday night or whatever it was, religiously. But a long time ago. And I went and I was so surprised at this 20-minute kind of wrap-up meeting. Public engagement should not be performative. You actually need to receive true and real feedback. We experienced that at our own house. We received a letter on public engagement, and when I went and asked questions about this tower that was going up in our backyard, we just couldn't get the answers, and the city didn't have those available to us. So I think that we have to get back to more real true engagement, and that requires face-to-face and people who have an opportunity to ask questions and truly be engaged.
Thank you very much. All right, Nikita. Ready? 90 seconds. Go for it.
So in my current working community, I am responsible to the people. I'm transparent and accountable, and City Hall must earn your trust. I support open data, clear communication about decisions, and more opportunity for residents to be part of the process. I will commit to being available, responsible, and transparent in how I vote and why.
Thank you very much. Kate, last but not least, here we go, 90 seconds.
Yeah, so transparency to me means meaningful engagement. And I think meaningful engagement means having these conversations at the right time. So often it seems like we reflect back and, a decision's made, and then the city and the residents are upset with whatever decision was made, like the Bannerman Park sign, when there wasn't proper consultation beforehand. That kind of frustration is preventable with meaningful engagement, and that goes along with accountability too. When we have face-to-face interactions, when I get to know you and you get to know me and understand my decision making and I understand your priorities, we're a much better city because of it, and we make much better decisions, in my opinion. But I definitely think the timing of engagement is key in the format in which it's done.
Thank you very much. All right, that's another round. So we've got 2 bits left, transportation and mobility, which is 1 bit, and then closing a statement. So I'm going to try to thread the needle here again by doing my left to right thing. So this time we'll go Lynn left, and then for the last one, we'll go Art right, and we'll go this way. So everyone's kind of getting a chance to be out towards the front and also the back and somewhere in between. I guess I'll read the question. And if you need me to read it again, feel free to ask. Transportation and mobility, including infrastructure, public transit, and active transportation. Between the controversy surrounding the city's bike plan, frustration with Metro bus service, and long-standing concerns about snow removal and walkability, residents are concerned about how people get around in St. John's. What do you think should be done to improve transportation and mobility in the city? Lynn, we'll start with you, 90 seconds.
Okay, thank you. So I'm a driver. I don't use public transportation in this city. And for some reason, when I go to other cities, it's automatic. It's what I do. But as a driver, I think, like many of us, I complain about the potholes in the spring and the scratch and patch that they do in the summer. And I think we all recognize that there has to be a better way to manage our aging infrastructure. With regards to public transportation, I think that we have an issue with regards to perception, is one of the challenges with Metrobus. I think that, sorry, I'm trying to remember the whole question here, Adam.
Transportation and mobility, so including infrastructure, public transit, active transportation. What do you think should be done for the city? So that could be from Metrobus to, and I will take this off your time.
Yeah.
Metrobus, longstanding concerns with snow removal, walkability, all of that.
Yeah,
How people get around.
So ultimately, it goes to our core services. And the reality is there's a set amount of money that's available. And so I would really like to see a core services review, very common in provincial government. And I'd like to see it at the city level and to get real measurement on when projects are going to be done and in what time frame. I think that, without that kind of accountability, it's hard to see what's aging and what's not and what the changes need to be.
Thank you. You didn't even need the 15 seconds. Perfect. And you're actually right on time for 90 seconds. Wallace?
Okay.
All right. So again, transportation and mobility, including infrastructure, public transit, and active transportation. So that's everything from the bike plan to metro bus, snow removal, walkability, how folks get around, or the obstacles to them. And the question, what do you think should be done to improve transportation and mobility in the city? 90 seconds, go for it.
Okay, well, I think about the way I transit the city myself. I'm over the age of 60, and my knees aren't quite what they were in the old days, so I have actually recently taken to the e-bicycle, and I find it great for getting around, but of course, the roads are terrible, except for that path right in front of Mun here. That was wonderful because I came all the way up Newtown Road, and I came down that, and it was gorgeous. So I think actually we do need more bike lanes, because more bike lanes, the more people like me will get out there and bike. Now during the winter time, of course, I ride the bus. I'm a big supporter of Metro Bus. Sometimes it's not the most pleasant experience, to be sure, but it gets me around. And I think that we should put a bit more money into Metro Bus. The buses are nice, they could be a bit nicer. As for snow clearing in the downtown, of course, I live in downtown. I'm woken many a night by the snow clearing and all that. And for the most part, it's fairly well organized, but there are parts that could be done faster.
15 seconds.
And especially the sidewalks more than anything else, and especially downtown. Uptown, you got big wide roads. We only got tiny little roads downtown. There you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wallace. All right, John. Oh, the microphone's already down there again. Excellent. Are you good on the question?
Love to hear it one more time.
Sure. Yeah. No. It's because there's a lot in this one, right? So it's transportation and mobility. So we're talking, the city's bike plan, Metro Bus, snow removal, general walkability. These are the issues in St. John's that a lot of people think about when it comes to getting around. So then the question is, what do you think should be done to improve transportation and mobility for people in the city? And I will hit start in 2 seconds. 90 seconds, go for it.
Okay, so I would start off by we need people taking more public transit. I would just say we reduce the rate, we reduce it to zero. I think you should be able to walk onto a Metro Bus. If you're on a Metro Bus, you're not driving a car. You're not driving a car, you're not tearing up our roads. More people on a Metro Bus, less cars on the road, better roads. Bike lanes, again, less cars, more people move around quicker and easier. It's a lovely time. In lots of other wintry countries, they manage to keep bike lanes paved year round, and it's accessible and easy to use. So let's get some more of them. I also think that we're not doing much with sidewalk clearing. Like it is getting much better than it used to be. Some streets in the wintertime, I can walk 200 meters without having to dive through a snowbank or walk into dangerous traffic or, live in fear. But our city has a walkability score of like 37. It's terrible. We need to increase more. We need more grocery stores. We need more smart urban planning. We need to be more walkable to be more sustainable, and we need to be more sustainable to be,
15 seconds.
More livable city. That's where we need to go.
Thank you. All right. Reset. 90 seconds, Scott. Go for it.
Okay, thanks. A lot of things to touch on there. Metro Bus obviously needs to be redesigned and improved in ride frequency and speed. Get the kids hooked when they're young. Let them ride for free. Create some loyalty long term. We're a winter city. Continue to improve sidewalk snow clearing. 15 years ago, it was a pipe dream, but now we know how important it is, and we realize we can't do without it. So continue to build on that. Shared use paths, fantastic. Love Kelly's Brook. We need more of that to interconnect the city More bikes, absolutely. I would like to keep Rennie's and Virginia River Trails pedestrian only, however. What else?
You can end there if you want.
I like to run.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for that. All right.
Yes.
There we go. Sorry, Art. 90 seconds.
The city received $30 million a number of years ago. It was all spent on the new depot, off of Kelsey Drive, right? There was a push that time to put more buses on the street, whatever, but at the time, decision was made for a new depot. But I don't ride Metrobus, but I ride it like every now and then, like the fellow said. I think the last time I did was a few years ago, and it's a lot more convenient than people think. So I think we need to put more money into Metrobus. I think the service should be free for seniors, for students, for young people. I think we should probably introduce a pilot project, say for July and August, let it be free for everybody. As someone had said here, let people get used to riding Metrobus. And I mean, if you look at where they go to the Village Mall, Avalon Mall, or some central points and so on, right? The next thing is clearing of sidewalks. I mean, the city needs to spend more money clearing sidewalks, which means the snow has to be removed. When the plow comes by, it just plows it onto the sidewalk. I mean, years ago, they would use sidewalks for snow storage, no attempt whatever to move the snow. And that was wrong, and I spoke against that. So once the plows fill the sidewalks, then the sidewalks need to be cleared. So the snow has to be removed. It has to go someplace. So what we need to do is put more money behind Metrobus and more money behind sidewalk clearing.
Thank you very much. All right, reset. Paul, 90 seconds, go for it.
I think certainly we should increase the funding for Metrobus. I mean, the ridership is growth, and it seems like the funding was cut recently. And we should propose express routes between, high traffic areas like major hubs, Avalon Mall, the Village Mall, and Munn. That way you reduce travel times and increase the appeal of using the Metrobus. In terms of the sidewalk snow clearing, I think it should be more focused on the clearing, post storms to keep the paths safe and usable. And then for bike lanes, I mean, I think, we could have the separate bike lanes that are protected and the multi-use trails that are safe for all users, such as walkers, wheelchairs and e-scooters. And then, promote universal design to ensure sidewalks and path and infrastructure serve all the abilities.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right. You okay, Miles? All right. Okay. 90 seconds. Here we go. Go for it.
Hey, 1966, Metrobus had 54 buses. It's 2025. They have 54 buses. The population is over double, and the city is 6 times as big. Transit ridership is almost double in the last 5 years. We've bought 0 additional buses to expand the system. In fact, they've cut the Route 6 in half to make the Route Galway. That has 4 stops. We can't talk about any of this without talking about accessibility. We worked with Happy City, full disclosure, in one not-for-profit. We looked at the number of routes that are accessible all winter, that is, has a covered stop, is lit, and has cleared sidewalks. It went from 920 stops to 22. 22 stops. There are 600,000 car parking spaces in St. John's. There's 120,000 people. We got space to put in bus-only lanes, bike lanes on the street. We look at something like Kellysbrook Path, amazing trail. There's no traction plate for people who are blind. We look at Rennie's River Trail. It's more expensive to build than a suburban road. I don't want to touch those paths either. The city has a affliction to love of cars. I drive a car, but in my pocket's my Metrobus pass. I was hit 3 times on my e-bike riding up Major's Path. Major's Path, by the way, a path they built that dips into a hole of gravel because the city doesn't care about its connecting to things. So I want to be clear. Transit sucks here, and that's because the city doesn't have a plan to fund it. I want to build transit-oriented development in low-value commercial spaces so we can address housing and accessibility and all these good things. Yeah.
We need accessible sidewalks all year round for everybody. Yeah. For everybody. More money is not enough. We need to get it all done. It's been too long and it's too extreme. We cannot leave our houses for 5 months out of the year, and I can walk.
Thank you very much, Ann. Kate, 90 seconds.
Exactly. That was just what I was about to say. It's not only about how we move, but why we move. And mobility and transportation and active infrastructure impacts why we move. So we go to school, we go to grocery stores, medical appointments, different opportunities. And people around our city are limited in opportunity because we are not providing adequate transportation, public transportation, and active infrastructure. This means expanding our shared use paths, our bike lanes, but also seeing this kind of transportation and active infrastructure as an investment in our people, right? When people move around our city, we see so many different benefits that, I would take up more than 90 seconds if I tried to list them all off. So it's not good enough. And the sidewalks is another one. It's not safe. And to me, safety is always a priority for anybody walking in the winter or any time. There's a sidewalk that's not even up to regulation. It's super skinny. You can't, I can barely walk on it with my lab. We're falling into traffic. How is that good enough? And how are we keeping our people safe? Because clearly we're not doing enough.
Thank you very much. 90 seconds, Nikita, go for it.
As a person who works in community, this is an issue and topic that comes up almost daily in my work. And as a person who used to ride the bus and was unable to work on a Sunday because the bus didn't go where I lived on that day. And then we talk about poverty. Well, if people can't get to work, they're going to live in poverty. So I believe that we need to have more reliable, affordable, and accessible buses, but also make it more easy and safer for for people to have the option to ride a bike. And the sidewalks need to be cleared, so not just the people who are trying to get to the metro bus, but also the people who are choosing to walk and wheel their way to their daily duties. And I do think that there needs to be an overview and a revamp of the metro bus and how people move through the city. And we need to make sure that the sewage and roads is up to date to handle the growth and the density in the city.
Thank you very much. All right, round of applause for that last one, if you could humor me here. We're landing this airplane on time tonight, it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone. Okay, 2 minutes per person. Closing statement. Here's what we have on offer from the a la carte. What is something you feel is not being talked about enough or deserves more attention? Or you can choose your own adventure and say whatever you want. Okay? And we will start. So right, left to right, right to left. So we'll go with Art and go back through everyone. 90, do you have a microphone there? We got to get you one? No. All right, I think one can. Yeah, they can migrate down. So we'll go. And we're back to 2 minutes here.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, well, loud and clear.
It's working.
All right, ready?
Yep.
2 minutes on the clock. Go.
Okay. I believe St. John's is a wonderful place to call home. It's vibrant, colourful, and a progressive place to live and visit. Steeped in history and tradition, it has much to offer. As your city council, it's important we work together to make St. John's even better. And as I said before, there's 3 things that I really want to concentrate on. Respecting your tax dollars. We need to be smarter with our spending. Secondly, accessibility for everyone. That means better subway clearing in the winter and safer, more inclusive crosswalks year-round. And third, affordable housing. It's got to be a bigger priority, and everybody deserves a safe, affordable place to live. And to me, that's a God-given right. And we don't help these people, there's something wrong. Now, I'm not going to make promises I can't keep, but I will promise this. If you phone me, I'll answer your call. If you send me an email, I'll answer it, and I'll always be available, and I'll always be upfront. And that's what I intend to do if I'm elected. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Which way?
Oh, right. We're going right. So we'll go Scott. Stage right. Stage right. Oh, yes, of course. Oh, my God, Miles. Yeah, my right. It's all through my lens. I'm sorry. Scott's up next, 2 minutes. But I will say, Paul, you're the last voice today, which is kind of an advantage. So, Scott, 2 minutes to you. Here we go.
Thank you. I just want to say thanks for coming out and being a part of this tonight. As you've heard, there are a lot of big issues facing our city. The need for affordable housing is key among them because it affects so many other aspects of life in St. John's. There are also basic down-to-earth issues that don't get as much attention, but that are the backbone of municipal government and services. For example, garbage collection and clean water coming out of your tap. I want you to know that I'm here for all of it. You can count on me to answer your phone. No, answer the phone. I'm not going to come over and answer your phone, I promise. to answer emails, respond to your text when everyday issues of being a taxpayer in St. John's are not working for you. We're very lucky to live here in this beautiful city, but there is clearly work to do. I'm committed to being a responsive and accessible councillor who will listen, learn, and take action. When you get your ballot, I respectfully ask for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. John, 2 minutes. Go for it.
The number one issue facing the city of St. John's right now is housing, and it's impacting all walks of life. Currently, the average cost of a single-bedroom apartment is a little over half your net income when earning a minimum wage, sitting at around $1,150. The average rent increase in St. John's for a single-bedroom apartment from the decade of 2010 to 2019 increased 127%. In the years from 2020 to 2024, that's, last 5 years, alone, it has already increased by 122%. And the City of St. John's 2023 housing report has us heading to a cumulative shortage of 2,740 units by 2028 in their best case scenario. We need more housing. Our homeless shelters are at capacity when typically there should be plenty of room, with some choosing to live full-time outside during the summer months to receive a little extra income. We need more housing. As a closing statement, I would like to take advantage of this election season and start on a commitment from my platform to advocate for more support from the provincial and federal governments for mental health and addiction services. I'm issuing a call to action for the people of this city to ask our provincial candidates a few questions. If we can overspend on a dam by $7 billion, why are we in the middle of a housing crisis? If we can overspend on a dam by $7 billion, why are there unroofed individuals? Why can't we all afford to live in this, our city of St. John's?
Thank you very much. Wallace. All right.
Didn't expect you to jump to me so quickly.
It comes at you fast. 2 minutes, ready?
Okay.
Right, go for it, sir.
Okay, yes, despite all the problems facing this city, I still have hope for St. John's. I think we have an amazing spirit. The community, like I say, especially down around the Rollins Cross, everyone gets together, everyone fights together. And I think that the future is hopeful for us. Newfoundlanders, when it comes down to it, do get together. My grandfather, for instance, during the Great Depression, he went broke feeding poor people in St. John's. And when it ended, all the other store owners got together and they put him back into business. And to me, that is St. John's. That's helping each other out. Myself, my main thing is to serve the people. I want to serve the people of St. John's. I don't want to serve the politicians. I want to serve the people. I don't want to serve developers. I want to serve the people. I don't want to serve City Hall. I don't want to serve anyone else. I want to serve the people. I definitely don't want to serve the sign makers, as you can tell by my lack of signage around this town. But the one thing I will share was, in terms of one of my biggest qualities, is my stubbornness. When I was heading off to art school many years ago, my father took me up to the airport, like many parents seeing their youngins off to the mainland, going wherever, and he said to me, and I'll never forget about it, he said, "Wallace, you're a very, very stubborn person." And he said, "But that's good." And so I would like the chance to be stubborn for every citizen in St. John's, Newfoundland. And in terms of returning your phone calls, I'll even drop by for a cup of tea, because I have my
15
bike.
seconds. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
2 minutes, Lynn. Go for it.
Thank you. So building a city that is truly inclusive and accessible is at the heart of my motivation for running for council. About a third of the population of Newfoundland and Labrador identify as having a disability, and that number rises to nearly 40% for seniors. This is clear evidence that accessibility is not a niche concern. It is central to our shared future. I'll acknowledge the work that the current council in the Inclusion Advisory Committee has been making meaningful progress, but there remains urgent work ahead to ensure that everyone is included in the decision-making and the daily life of our city. My commitment to this goal isn't abstract. It comes from personal experience. About 15 years ago, I experienced a sudden, life-changing onset of full-body arthritis, later diagnosed as lupus. Those challenging years gave me a firsthand understanding of the obstacles facing many in our community today. Even as my symptoms have eased, this lived experience has shaped my dedication to advancing inclusion and accessibility for all. And if elected, I hope to be Council's champion for the Inclusion and Advisory Committee. Representation matters, not just for policy effectiveness, but for dignity and for respect. Ultimately, inclusion isn't just about ramps and curb cuts. It's about attitudes and accountability. And when we design policies and practices from a place of understanding and respect, we can create a city that truly welcomes everyone. The goal is to strive to build a community where every individual's full humanity is valued and where no one is left behind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
4 seconds left. Excellent. Thank you, Lynn. All right, Nikita, 2 minutes to you. Go for it.
For my work in community mental health, I feel like this lens is greatly needed on City Council at this moment. I see St. John's has potential. We have the opportunity to build a community where no one is left behind. Our infrastructure, transit, and public safety need to reflect the needs of the people who are living here. And we need to be able to hear your voice and take your concerns to council. I'm running because I care deeply about the people of St. John's, and I will bring compassion, accountability, and a strong community voice. On election day, vote Nikita Ryle for Councillor at Large.
Thank you very much. Kate, 2 minutes.
First of all, again, it was a pleasure to be here with you all, and thank you, Adam, and Happy City for hosting us. Like I said at the beginning, I chose to stay here. I am seeing so many of my peers, so many of your children and grandchildren leaving because they feel like there's no opportunity to stay. There's nowhere to live, they can't afford to live, they can't move around. This needs to change. As the first Gen Z candidate in this city's history, I bring a fresh perspective, rooted in the challenges and opportunities of my generation. We want people to come here, visit here, and want to stay here because it can be the best city, and I believe in its potential. I've never been afraid of a challenge, clearly. Running for council is a challenge, and I've faced many other challenges in my life. And I take this opportunity as that, and I'm not shy to back down. I have a strong voice, and I'm ready to use that for all of you to make the best decisions that we can on behalf of our beautiful city. So on October 2nd, I respectfully ask for your consideration. 90 seconds isn't a lot, so if you do have follow-up questions or want to get in touch, I'll be around, and I'd love to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. All right, 2 minute smiles. And go for it.
I've been maybe a little dicey, a little spicy here tonight. Also, want to start off by, again, thanking Happy City and everyone for coming out, honestly. This is, it's an evening to do some chatting. I want to open up by saying I've been talking a lot about systemic problems we clearly all identify as being actual problems. Housing problems, things about accessibility, things about transit. We are in a bunch of crises. If you would have asked me 4 years ago, would I have been sitting at a table being a councillor? No, I was a construction guy. I was designing the buildings we live in, the roads, the pipes, the infrastructure. It's what I do. Then I started to question, why are things so messed up? And I got answers from engineers that said, it's not our problem. We're not paid to care. Councillors that are going to go and say, well, we have to do a study. No, we don't. Other cities do great things. We just got to copy them. We can be super lazy. Montreal, St. John's, done. Copy. So here's the thing. I've met with Kate and Nikita. I've went out and, like Greg knows the reason why. I've been outreaching to other councillors and candidates and chatting to them. I've been at MHAs doing discussions about why are we not using robotics and heavy equipment so the roads are better? Why is it that when we put pipes in the ground, we don't analyze where the pipes are going so they don't conflict with each other? Blah, blah, blah. This is what I do. I analyze information and construction and engineering and planning. I'm running because there are critical issues with the way the city builds things. The reason our housing is unaffordable, the reason Metrobus sucks, the reason you can't ride a bike and the network is like 15 little pieces, these are all regulations. What I do professionally and what I do in my not-for-profit, I analyze with friends and other nerd people like me. We analyze data. We look at the problems. We look at demographic data. So again, I've been a little hot and a little passionate, but this is what I want to continue doing ad nausea because I know I can fix these problems. So October 2nd, same thing. Please come out to vote. Miles Russell, I'm angry.
Thank you. All right, Paul. Paul,
It's going to be hard to top that one.
The last word of the night, Paul. Last word of the evening. The last impression. 2 minutes. Go for it.
Simple and sweet. Serving on council isn't about title or politics. It's about the people. It's about listening to our neighbors, rolling up our sleeves, and making St. John's a city that we're all proud of. I'm running because I believe we can build a safer, fairer, and a more vibrant city. One where local businesses thrive, infrastructure is reliable, and every community feels heard and valued. On election day, I ask for your trust, your vote, and your voice. Together, let's create a St. John's that reflects the strength, resilience, and heart of its people. Thank you.
Thank you. And one big round of applause for everyone because that's it for this evening. Thank you very much for coming out. It's great to see so many people here. I don't know if happy, there we go, to wrap it up.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. So I just got a closing statement to let you know the other events and stuff that Happy City is doing. So thank you all once again for joining us tonight for the At-Large Canada Talk. It's been a privilege to share this space with such a wonderful audience. A heartfelt thank you goes out to all the Happy City incredible volunteers. Events like this simply wouldn't be possible without your time, energy, and dedication. Whether you help plan, promote, or facilitate this evening, your contribution made a real difference. And thank you, Adam, for moderating this event for us as well. And thank you to the candidates who participated tonight and those who expressed interest but were unable to attend. Your willingness to engage with the public is essential to a healthy, vibrant democracy. So I just wanted to remind everyone that this isn't the end of the conversation. We're hosting 2 more events next week. On September 15th, we'll be back with the mayoral candidate talk. And on September 16th, we'll be supporting the Georgetown Neighborhood Association with hosting the Ward 2 candidate talk at 7 p.m. at the Lantern. And we will also be hosting a Jane's Walk on the 21st at 1 p.m. Meeting at Pine Bud Ave. And both of the candidate talk events will follow a similar format to this and offer more opportunities to hear directly from those seeking your vote. And please follow us on social media and visit our stjohnsvotes.ca website for full details and stay in the loop. Thank you again for being here, for caring about our city, and for taking time to be an informed voter. Have a great night, and we hope to see you next week.